Okay, in this video I'm going to talk about fitting a damper and spring to the near side of a TVR Vixen. This is a really very easy procedure, but just so you know, the wheel arch has been removed to make it much easier. It would be very difficult with that in place. The previous damper and spring has been removed, so it's just a question of putting the new one back in. So what we're using today is a PD418 model damper from AVO. This is the correct one for the car, obviously you'd expect that, but there is some choice. You can get a different one to use 2.5 inch springs. This is the one for 2 1/4 ID springs. Okay, so I've provisionally fitted the spring. In another video I show you how to do that, so we won't go through that. I'm going to fit it so that the rate adjustment rotary is inboard, because having it outboard makes it much more difficult to fit. So just to show you what we have here, the car is on a jack on the second cross member from the front. The suspension has dropped, and the only thing that's keeping it up, I guess, is the anti-roll bar. So we take the unit and adjust it so that the rotary is facing inboard, offer it up, and just gently slide it into place. Notice also it would be wrong to have the adjustment knob at the top. I've seen some people fit it that way, but I think that would be considered to be the wrong way round. Okay, so you should be able to press this into place. We might need to persuade it with something like a copper-headed mallet, so we don't want to damage the damper, so we can just use something like this. Once you can see the eyelet of the damper, you can then use something like this screwdriver. Okay, having persuaded it in place, I'll now fit the bolt. This is a grade 8, grade 10 bolt, not stainless steel, but the washer is stainless, no reason not to use a stainless washer, and the nylocks are stainless, no reason not to use stainless nuts. Okay. So we can gently insert the bolt, and using the copper side, that should come through pretty easily. Okay, I won't fit the nylock and washer just yet until we've fitted the bottom bolt. As I found over the years, if you do nuts up, you only have to undo them again as a result of some kind of foul up. So now we'll try and fit the bottom one. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap between the bottom wishbone and the eyelet of the damper. This is because the suspension has dropped. So we need to bring in a second trolley jack, put it under the hub, which as everyone knows is from a TR6. Actually I can do this by hand probably. raise that up until almost in line. And now with my special tool, which is just a screwdriver, we can attempt to line that up. That goes in perfectly. And second bolt goes in. You'll notice I put the head of the bolts at the front of the car so that the threads are towards the rear. This is just a detailing thing really, but muck tends to collect at the front more than at the back. So okay, I need the mallet for that. Oops. Okay. So now we have the damper in place on the near side. I've previously done the off side. We can now remove the jack. I'm not going to put the nuts and bolts on yet until we've set the ride height, because there's no need. The car's not going anywhere. Okay, take the jack out of the way. I will just put the washers and nuts on loosely though, just so they don't get lost. Okay. Normally it's good practice with nylocks not to reuse them, so I'll temporarily use these again, but I'll replace them with new nylocks when the car's ready to go for its MOT. So I'll just put those on loosely. One thing you should do when you do any changes to the suspension is allow it to settle, especially in this case, which has had a full rebuild with new Superflex polyurethane bushes. You have to allow the suspension to settle.